We are live and direct. It's your boy back at it against your boy Rico. Listen, man. I said that I would do this on a weekly basis, so here we go. There ain't no Bills football to talk about, but there is some football to talk about. And we just witnessed shellacking. Do we call it a shellacking? Do we call that a beatdown? I don't know what you call that, but there comes a time where in this league, the way things play out, if you prepare well enough, big things happen. If you can prepare, you have an extra week to prepare for certain things, the results will show. And it's clear as day. The Patriots had enough time to prepare for a Chargers team they already played this year. So it gave them a good opportunity to just go back and refine some things and do some good things that they weren't able to do the first week. Week 8, I think, when they played. So it was clear, man. The Chargers got shellacked. They got their tails beat down and whooped. So sometimes that's the name of the game, man. If you don't prepare yourself, to a degree, you're gonna get the business. And that's exactly what went down. Now, when it comes to that type of stuff, by the way, shout out to everybody that's in this room right now. There's 3 y'all. It's early. There's 3 y'all in this room. But yeah, there comes a time where a guy like Phillip Rivers, you got to be sick inside. You got to be like, golly, man, I've been doing this long enough. And every time I have an opportunity to make something happen, there's always one dude that gets in my way. And it's Tom Brady, man. Whether it's Tom Brady during the season or in the playoffs, man, like, golly, the way to get to the playoffs is through New England and Tom Brady. And Rivers, I thought this was the year, man. This was going to be the year for you to make it happen. But we are back in the same position where the Patriots get a bye. The Patriots prepare for the team they're going to play, and they beat them handedly. So now it's going to be a very good game, AFC Championship game between the Chiefs and the Patriots. And we've seen that game before. So this will be interesting, man. This will really be interesting for real. So I wanted to touch base. I don't plan on staying very long online, but I wanted to touch base on some interesting things, some topics that have been coming up as of late. When it comes to the Bills, when it comes to free agency, when it comes to what they should do, who they should retain, who they should go after. There's always speculation. We've made some, I guess, offseason moves in terms of coaches. We've let some go. We haven't really replaced as much. Actually, I don't think we replaced anybody yet. We let go of our receiver coach. We let go of our special teams coach. And I feel like we let go of somebody else, but I can't recall right now. I know that we made a few coaching changes, but yet to replace any. So that is interesting in itself. O-line coach, which is Juan Castillo. So we haven't done it. We haven't even had an opportunity to do that. Are we waiting for one of these playoff teams to be eliminated for us to poach? Is there someone on the Chargers team that we like? Is there someone on the Ravens team that we like? So it's one of those scenarios that is interesting because right now, offensive coordinator wise, Marty, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, Marty Mordenweg, I believe. I don't know why, but I can't see any of your comments as they start coming in. Maybe they will come in, maybe it won't. But hold on a second, let me just kind of open this up a little bit. So Marty Mordenweg was the OC for the Ravens and got let go, right? See, I made a comment saying he would be ideal quarterback coach for our guy in Josh Allen. And, some people are up in arms. Oh, my God, what are you talking about? Why you want to bring a guy that came from the Ravens and the Ravens weren't able to do? It's not about him running the offense. We already know Dable's probably going to be retained and he will call the plays. It's cool. I appreciate that, Jose. But one thing that I want to get across is that when you have a guy in Marty that has worked with Pro Bowl quarterbacks, that has worked an offense that's been a top 10 offense before. So it's not like he's some bum that came out of nowhere. He's an established veteran guy. And who wouldn't, why wouldn't you want a guy like that working closely, very closely with your franchise quarterback that you just drafted, instead of a David Culley that has very little experience in actually being a quarterback coach, very little experience in running his own offense. He's only been a positional coach, and the position he's ever coached was tight end and receiver and a little bit of O-line. You know what I'm saying? His extensive work has been only with the receivers and tight ends. But yet you have that guy working exclusively with your quarterback. So I bring this up because there's some people like, because we haven't made any moves, like, why are we waiting? What exactly is McDermott or Bean waiting from all the other teams that are still in the playoffs? Like, is there someone specific? I'm actually very intrigued as to what they're going to do. That's one thing. I'll get that out of the way. But when you watch these playoff games, man, there's something that stands out. And my guy Pierre was digging deep into his bag to make us understand and realize what is important when it comes to being a playoff team. How do you have success during the season and getting to the playoffs? And one thing, and I'll get right to it, one thing that stood out was having a number 1 defense and number 2 defense and all that great stuff. The teams with the top 10 defenses weren't even in the playoffs. Yeah, I'd say maybe 2 teams, and I don't want to misinterpret what my man was saying, but not a whole lot of representation from teams that had top 10 defenses were in the playoffs. And let me just make sure I let you guys know. Let me give you guys a top 10 defenses in this league. Rico with the ashy hands. Not today, bro. Rico's good, man. I'm lotioned up. We good. Salute. What's going on, my guy? So top 10 defenses in this league. We had the Ravens. Obviously, we know the Ravens were number 1 playoff team, right? And they barely made the playoffs. They had to win their last game of the season with, another game on the line with the Steelers and the Bengals. I think there was a whole lot of implications that had to happen, and it was a fight to the wire with the Browns, right? So it wasn't like a shoo-in that they made it. Okay, so that's number 1. Ravens defense, they made the playoffs. Bills were number 2 defense, non-playoff team. Bears made the playoffs, right? So we got 2 teams in the playoffs. Guess what? Vikings, Jags, Steelers, Cowboys. That's a 3rd team that made the playoffs. Titans and the Chargers. So 1, 2, 3, 4 teams. 40% of the teams, top 10 teams made the playoffs with a top 10 defense. All right. From 11 to 15, the Colts, the Texans, the 49ers, and the Panthers. Saints are part of that. So those are the things that I'm wanting you guys to understand. Maybe it's not all about having a grand old defense, man. It really may not be all about that. Look at the damn Chiefs. The Chiefs are damn near the bottom of the league when it comes to defense. But that offense is fire, though. That offense is killer. You know what I'm saying? So if you can hang around and lay some points on the board, and that defense just does enough not to just get blown out, but your offense can put points on the board, you got yourself a chance. But having a top 10 defense doesn't necessarily get you into the playoffs, man, because you got to be able to put some points on the board. And you can't put points on the board and you rank 31st on offense, 30th on offense, you ain't going nowhere. Who do you blame that on? I mean, who takes the blame? Is that your quarterback? Because it's on 2 people. It's your quarterback or it's your OC. One of the 2. You know what I'm saying? So y'all already know how I feel about that. I'm just putting it out there. So it got us talking. Because right now, if you look at the teams that are currently in the league right now or have success, you got to be able to run the ball. You got to run the ball. You got to stop the run. If you can stop the run, you got yourself a chance in this league. Evan Harrington, what's going on, my guy? What's happening, everybody? So it goes to tell you real quick that if you stop the run and you can score points, you have yourself a chance. And just let me give you prime example. Today's game. Patriots Chiefs. Excuse me, the Patriots Chiefs. That's next week. Patriots Chargers. Melvin Gordon. Everybody knows that Melvin Gordon is one of the better backs in the league. One of the better running backs in this league. You know what I'm saying? So that's one. Then you got the Patriots that have a very, I'd say, balanced offense. Look what happened today. The Patriots ran for 129 yards alone with Sonny Michel. And then they had Rex Burkhead, you know what I mean, running the ball, James White running the ball. I think they had over 150 yards rushing. Don't quote me on that. All right. Let's go over to the Chiefs. Excuse me, the Chargers. The Chargers, 30 yards rushing. 30 yards rushing. You can't run the ball. You know what I'm saying? You're in trouble. If you stop the run, you got yourself a chance. So if you stop in the run and you're able to run the ball and you putting points on, listen, there's a small formula. There's a small formula in that recipe right there. Stop the run, score points, and you got yourself a chance to make it to the playoffs. Because if you can stop that run, man, it dictates everything. We already have solid corners in Trey White. We already have Levi Wallace. That's really shown that, I mean, he's come on strong at the end of the year. Actually, he's actually one amongst the best rookie corners, you know what I'm saying, part of this year. And he wasn't even drafted. Mr. Snowman, 17.5. How you doing, boss? I hope we don't take another L at home or away like we did versus the Ravens and they on their home field in the first NFL game this season. I hope not either. But let me get to point what I'm trying to make here. So, with that formula, you gotta now really think, how do we attack this offseason? What is important for us to attack this offseason? Are we going defense, and should we remain defense? A lot of people say, man, we don't need defense. We were a top 3 defense. We don't need it. All right. And I agree with you. I completely agree with you. But there were times where we got gashed the hell out of us in the run game. The run game destroyed us. The Patriots ran for what, 275 yards against us? I think it was another team, excuse me, there was another team that just ran all over us and we could not stop. I can't remember exactly what team, but we got killed. So it goes to tell you, we have to really shore up that run D, because that run D may not be as nice as we thought it was when it really comes to it. When one team is dedicated to running that ball and they scheme us nice, they can really gash us. And it won't matter how many passes they throw, because they can run and do what the hell they want with us. You can dictate a game very well when you just run the ball. Look at the Ravens. The Ravens, they gash you. They got Lamar Jackson and they got those two workhorses behind there. All they do is different formations and they'll gash you in the run. And if you can take time off the clock and keep just gashing us, what's the point of passing? The Ravens almost had success doing that all damn year as soon as Lamar Jackson came in the game. Now, I'm not saying that is the formula we have. We can, because we have a quarterback that can run the ball just as effectively. I mean, you saw it. What is he? Second leading rusher for quarterback, just behind Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying. So then we got into the chatter of Dan made a good point. Let me go back. Let's see what Dan was saying. Palmer says, hey, fresh glasses, Rico. I appreciate that, boss. You see that? You see me? Slick Rick says, about to say run D was bad at times. Yes, our run D was bad. Yes, it was. Yes, ma'am.
When are you done?
I'm going to be done soon, and then we're going to do homework, okay? All right. Carlos says, we should remain defense. Everyone always tries to go with what's trending, and only a few are successful. Carlos, that's a great point. That's a great point. Let me see. Mr. Solomon says, we gotta go 10-3. Yeah, we'd love to do that. So Carlos says, remain on defense. I got you. Dan, keep in mind our coaches are depending on Edmonds to be much better run stopper in year 2, but we just can't depend on one person. We can't. It's not feasible. You can't just depend on one person. You got to give this guy, you got to surround this defense. You got to be able to stop the run, though, because there are times where Edmonds is right there, tracked right there, and he's dead to rights to get the guy, and arm tackles, misses it. He over pursues. That was one of his knocks coming at college, where he over pursues and doesn't see the play, and the play's way over there. While Edmonds is over here, he got way better. Don't get me wrong. He vastly improved on that. But that was one of the knocks coming out of Virginia. You feel me? So that's something that we got to keep in mind. Jose says lineman. Absolutely. So Palmer says sign Matt Paradis and Andy Levitri, draft Jonah Williams, Teller, Dawkins in the right side. It's not a bad little lineup. Not a bad little lineup. All right, so here is where I'm trying to get to. Stopping the run, scoring points. Then it comes down to, okay, let's take a look at our linemen. Let's keep it a buck. I had somebody hit me up and say, listen, man, you need to do a video on the offensive line and what we need to do with it. An official video. This is a live. This is just to kind of get a feeler, and then I'll do my videos and I edit it and all that good stuff. But check this out, though. We know our offensive line was a struggling unit all year long. We know that. All right. And you've heard me say this before, and I'm going to say it again. You want to win in this league, you've got to build from the inside out. So my question to you is, what is more important? Interior linemen, and I'm talking about defense and offense. Interior linemen or the exterior linemen? Let's go with the defense first, because I think that is where we really need to focus on this year, because we just lost a key cog in our defense in Kyle Williams with his retirement, right? So Justin Phillips, I like a lot. I think we will bring him back. That'll be good depth for our team. Starla Tulele was a plug. He had some times, he had some strings of weeks where he was solid, and then there was times where you're like, well, where the hell he's at? Where's he at? Because I don't know where he's at. But I think that we're going to get more out of him this coming year. And then we got Phillips. Excuse me, not Phillips. Harrison. Am I saying it right? What am I don't know why I'm getting all messed up, but you all know exactly what I'm talking about. The rookie that we got in from the 3rd round. So you have those 3 linemen. Are we content with just going with those 3? Stick in a bit of Shaq Lawson, have him as the 4th, maybe interior lineman. Maybe he's going to stay on the outside. Maybe we don't even bring him back. I don't know. I think we will, especially because of the year that he had. He really came on strong near the end. But where is it that you define what's better and what's more important? So here's the argument that, I mean, when you have a group chat, man, you have a whole bunch of ideas and people throwing out things. It makes a whole lot of sense. And here's what I caught out of it. Is having defensive tackles more important than edge rushers. And to me, as a bystander, I stood back and just read, and I started thinking to myself, I'm like, man, would I want an elite pass rusher that can disrupt the game? Like, could you imagine me taking, you know what I mean, somebody else over a Khalil Mack? Oh my God, didn't we do that? I'm just saying. So a Khalil Mack that can change the game. The Raiders didn't even think he was good enough. They said, you know what? Out you go. We don't believe in you. That's pretty much what they're saying. We don't believe the money that we're about to give you is good enough because we can get some more in the draft next year. Cool. That's what they thought. The Bears loved it. I mean, him alone improved that defense well enough that they made the playoffs. Playoffs? You're damn right. So with a guy like Jerry Hughes, you love a guy like Jerry Hughes because he's actually one of the more effective pass rushers all year long. So would you pair him up with another defensive end, or do we draft a defensive tackle in the draft? Now, here's some points that you can make. Interior lineman, that's the quickest and fastest way you get to the quarterback. Right up the gut, right up the middle. You disrupt the middle. What does it do to the quarterback? It gets the quarterback off his spot. He's now got to adjust, and now things are distorted. He's now got to worry about somebody batting the ball out of his hands and all that stuff, right? Down the middle. So now he's got to move around. So if you can collapse the middle, that not only does it take away from interior run, but it makes the quarterback have to move off the spot. So, and it's the quickest way to get to the quarterback. So look at today. You got Joey Bosa. You've got Melvin Ingram on the Chargers. All right. I don't know the Chargers too well, but I know some of the players. And you have those elite rushers, and not one single hand was laid on Tom Brady today. We know it firsthand. We know Tom Brady and the New England offense. Dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. So I'm saying, get the ball out of their hands. And that's exactly what happened today. They could not get to Tom Brady because Tom Brady was getting the ball out of his hands because they're expecting the exterior rush to get to Tom Brady, but they didn't get there in time. Now, if you have a guy that can push the pocket like a Quinnen Williams, that can get after and disrupt the interior, is it something that we can pair up with Edmonds, pair up with Milano, pair up with Starla Tulele, and set up ourselves for the coming year, because we're going to need it. With guys like Lamar Jackson, with guys like I'm just gonna say the AFC North, guys like Big Ben, guys like Baker Mayfield. We gotta disrupt the middle in order to have a chance, because we know we have lockdown corners. We have the lockdown corners. So if we focus on getting on the middle, maybe that's a way to do it. So do we? I don't want to say waste, but do we go with the 9th pick with a defensive tackle? Is that something that is viable? Is that a smart move for us to make based on what I just told you, based on the information I just gave you? Now, here's the flip side. Bump all the interior line, because you got linebackers for that. Fill the routes with the linebackers, pinch in the linemen, do what you must. But edge rushers is key, because a guy like Von Miller, a guy like Khalil Mack, a guy like Jerry Hughes, they don't just grow on trees, man. We gotta pay guys like that. There's the one who disrupt it, and I think they do. They disrupt the game, because it's no worse than your right-handed quarterback, and you got to worry about this right end barreling down on you every single time. So you can't get settled, because now instead of you thinking you got 3 seconds to get rid of it, it's now down to 1.5. So now you got to make plans. So now if we double up and get another guy like Nick Bosa, for instance, you got Jerry Hughes and Nick Bosa, bookends coming at you. Maybe that's the route we need to take. I wanted to know what your thoughts are on that, because it's a viable question. Interior lineman or exterior lineman. Now let's go to the offensive line. Where do you build? Do you build from your left tackle and right tackle, your bookends, so your quarterback has all the time in the world? You know what I'm saying? Or do you get your interior lineman set? Because with that being said, shout out to Hayden Black for that donation. Big Nick is a GOAT. Listen, man. Nick, people are talking about it. Hayden, I know. So offensive line wise, what do you focus on? Because right now we have a litany of holes in our line, man. Like the center position is a question mark, because is Bodan our guy? You know what I'm saying? Is he the guy that we want? Are we happy with Groh at center? No, we're not. You know what I'm saying? So center is something we have to look into. Right guard is something we have to look into. Left guard is something we have to look into. Right tackle is something we have to look into. Left tackle is the whole line, because everyone and their mama knows that not anybody had a solid year. And that's including Deion Dawkins. Deion Dawkins himself knows he didn't have a big year. He didn't. He says, man, he even said one of his tweets or on Instagram, I'm not sure what it was. Hold on, babe. Daddy's almost done. I'm gonna come see you. So it was even on his Instagram. Says, I can't get comfortable anymore. What that tells me is my man thought he was legit. I'm now the left tackle of this team. So I got this. And then he started watching, these collegiate bowl games, and he saw how solid these old linemen were. And on top of that, you got your star running back talking about, man, I wish I can have one of those guys blocking for me. So as a lineman, you're like, shit, my starting running back's talking shit like that? Shit, I can't get comfortable. I thought I was the man in this bitch. I'm not. So it goes to tell you that our whole front line, there has to be some movement. There's got to be guys coming in and accountability. I've been saying this for so long. Accountability has to be taken. It starts with Bean, McDermott. You know what I'm saying? Our scout team have got to make sure that we are doing our jobs and scouting everywhere to make sure this line is legit. Because if we want any type of success offensively going forward this year, it has to be starting with our quarterback. And if our quarterback is supposed to have any success, guess what? We got to protect our quarterback. But we just cannot give him these wishy-washy guys that we have right now. That's just not going to work. It's not going to cut it. So I'm interested to know how y'all feel about that. Yes, please. So I'm going to read some of your questions. I'm going to let you guys and let me know how you guys feel about it. Dan says, keep in mind our coaches are depending on Edmonds. Yes, absolutely. Dennis Fleur says, remember when all you guys hyped up Peterman? That was me. I was hyping up Peterman. And I want to tell you, I'm not ashamed to say it, because guess what? The guy that I was hyping is the guy that won the damn job. So come at me. Come at me all you want, because the facts are the facts. If he didn't make the team, he got cut in the offseason, then y'all can roast me all you want. But guess what? My guy got the starting job. And not only did he get the starting job, he went up against the #1 freaking defense in the league first week. You know what I'm saying? So, shoot. At the end of the day, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, when the bright lights were on, the lights were off for Peterman in his head. He just couldn't, he can't deal. He can't function. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But guess what? This brings me back to my point I was making earlier. When you have an offensive coordinator and quarterback coach that can't get your quarterback to improve from last year, especially when he threw those five interceptions, guess who was the offensive coordinator? Excuse me. Guess who was the quarterback coach? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. David Culley. David Culley was a quarterback coach. Not only did he quarterback coach Tyrod, which we had no improvement from Tyrod. He stayed the same, was the same exact guy. Then we have a guy that throws 5 interceptions in a game. You think the quarterback coach is going to work with him and he's going to get through it and go on? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? He gets back in the game and starts throwing interceptions again. So what is our quarterback coach doing? Are you not getting on this guy? Is it on Peterman? Of course it's on Peterman. Of course it's on Peterman. Weeks 1 to 6, our quarterback coach was who? Culley. How was our quarterback play? Not very good. Although it was a rookie plan, but it wasn't very good. Right? Not until Derek Anderson came to the team, then you started seeing some improvement from our quarterback Josh Allen. Why? Because we brought in a veteran that's played the game, that knows it, that's been around the league and gets it. What the hell was our quarterback coach doing this whole time? That's a question for y'all to answer. Start looking into that. Stop listening to all these yahoos on Twitter talking about, oh, we just want to see these guys come back and do the same thing and with more talent. Well, with talent that we did have, we should have seen some improvement, right? Not until the quarterback from that was nearly on his couch retired came in, and then you started seeing big time improvement. Then we signed Mike Barkley, and then we started seeing way more improvement. And the fact is this: our quarterback is the one who says it himself. Yo, ever since these guys came to this squad, man, yo, my game has improved big time. Big time. I don't see him mentioning Culley. I don't see him mentioning Dable. Like, these guys were the ones that, nah, man, because Dable was already there all offseason long. You know what I'm saying? People are going to say, nah, man, he did mention it. Nah, not like the way he did with Anderson and Barkley. Let's keep it a buck, man. He's not going to trash his offensive coordinator. He's not. But I don't see him saying, man, Dable was the guy. He made me. Nah, man, he didn't. He did it. So, not to go on a tangent, but somebody brought up Peterman. It is what it is. It is what it is. But guess what? We still got the same QB coach. We're going to see what's really good. You guys want to see that again? Y'all want to see that again? Come on now. Dennis first says, Jose R says, move back in the draft a couple spots and draft 2 linemen. I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. Let me see what we got. Who should start, Barkley, Allen, or Anderson? Come on, man. That's a silly question. Silly question. Jay Phillips said he's in the negotiations with he was in negotiations a few days ago. Phillips should be brought back. I don't see why they can't bring this guy back. It's a no-brainer. You bring that man back, and that's that. Pierre Gabbard says a BF flag to replace that Bills flag would be fire. You talk about this bad boy right here? Yeah, we might do that. Might get a nice little BF flag, get that going, or I might just get a huge flag in behind me. We're working on that. We're working on that. These donations do help, though. These donations do help. I'll tell you that. Enigmatic Elephant says Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver would be legit too. There's some good defensive players in this thing, man. So I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Let me see what we got here. Nick Bosa won't be there at 9. He may not. He may not. But it all depends on what people need, right? We need to go back to the end of the red helmets. The red helmets will be dope. He's the reason why they beat us for the best defense. It's possible. It's possible. So I just want to drop that on you guys. How you guys feel about that? Interior lineman versus exterior lineman. Defense, offense. How do we gain success going forward this offseason? It's crucial, man, because it's showing right now. Stop the run in this league, and you put points on the board. That's what it comes down to. How did like the Chiefs? What the Chiefs and what do you call? Let's go this way. How did the Rams game go against the Dallas Cowboys? Did you see a lot of this? I didn't see a lot of that. You know what I did see? I saw Todd Gurley go for over 100 yards, and I saw CJ Anderson go for over 100 yards. I didn't see a lot of this. I did not. So when you see that part, it makes you think, hold on a second. If we can stop the run, we already have cornerbacks. Maybe that's the way to get our success. But we must fill that O-line. Maybe we just got to go draft D-line and O-line and keep it moving. Anyway, that's it. That's my time. I just wanted to bring that to your attention because I think it's super important. It's going to be very interesting to see what route this front office, this management team takes, because they cannot toy with this offseason. This offseason is crucial as can be. We have our quarterback now. How will you address the holes we have on this line? And we both know the major holes right now is at the receiver spot and the O-line spot. But the underrated spot that people are not talking about is that D-line. That D-line is something we still need to bolster and address, and hopefully that's what goes down this offseason. I'm going to take a few more questions. If that's the case, then your boy's out. Saeed Mustafa says, yo, homeboy, I support Man United. You talking about soccer, boy? Come on now. Never heard of the Rams. Oh, you mean boy? Ain't nobody talking about soccer, bro. Just gotta bring soccer talk into this thing. Anyway, so that's the case, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the donations. I appreciate the support that y'all keep bringing to Buffalo Fanatics. The kids are a mess right now, so my time is up. So I got to go. So keep showing love. Keep tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to this page, go ahead and do it right now. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the draft. Can we do that? 5,000 subscribers by the draft. That's only 200, man. We need to get there. So once we get there, we can keep it moving. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And guess what? Y'all gotta like this and continue to show love so I can keep putting these out every single week. So until next time, it's your boy, and I'm gone.